I'm Vegas Runner, here to break down UFC 130. We had a very successful UFC 129, gave out 3 bets, cashed all 3. Before that, we had Strikeforce and swept that card as well. So been on fire in MMA. With that said, I love to bet underdogs. Especially in MMA, there's just way too many ways to win a fight. If you have a favorite, you really have to have some strong support and reasoning behind it. With that said, I felt we had that for UFC 129. That's why we bet the favorites, and fortunately, we cashed all 3. Coming in the UFC 130, I once again took the approach, let's look to the dog. And let's see if we could find some that are going to bark. We broke down the Rampage Hamill fight. You could check that out for my prediction there. But now let's break down the Pitbull versus the Horror Story. This one was supposed to be on the prelims. I didn't understand why. I was really excited to see this fight. Fortunately for them, unfortunately for the fans, Maynard Edgar canceled due to injury, and this is now on the main card. We have a packed 175-pound division. The welterweight division is one of the most stacked divisions in all of MMA. So this is a key fight for both fighters. Bottom line is this. Alves has the name, and the name recognition gives you a lot of perception in MMA betting lines. And I think that's reflected in the minus 200 price that you see Alves. And I think that'll only go up. He's a 2-to-1 favorite, and I think the price is only going to go up. My recommendation, fade the minus 200 and bet the Horror Story. It's simple, fellas. We know how to beat Alves. The game plan's been laid out for us already. Any coach, any MMA fighter knows there's one way to beat Alves. John Fitch showed us, GSP showed us. When you look at takedowns, GSP scored 10-0 in favor of GSP. Fitch 9-0 in favor of Fitch takedowns. Now, yes, Story isn't GSP. Story isn't John Fitch, but he is a collegiate wrestler and he is a southpaw. That makes me think he'll be able to work the takedown by staying out of trouble. Here's the key. If you get into a strike fest with Alves, more chances are you will not win that fight. He is exciting and well-versed Muay Thai fighter. Has some of the best striking in the 170-pound division when you take in his kicks and his flying knees. They're devastating. We know that. So what you need to do to beat him is negate that and work on his weakness, which is takedown defense and wrestling. And that's exactly what Story has. He has excellent wrestling, and he's great at takedowns. And I think that's exactly what you need to beat Alves. I think the value is huge. We're all seeing how great Alves looks. The Dolce diet has done wonders for him. And the problem with that is this. When on the night of the fight, he's going to come in around 190. He's going to weigh in at 170. That's a lot of weight to put back on in a 24-hour period. That's going to make him the more physical and stronger man. But that depletion to get to 170 will take its toll in the later rounds. So if Story's able to weather the storm early on, not get into exchanges with him, but instead be aggressive by using that southpaw stance and using some takedowns and making Alves work. You don't even have to apply much punishment on the ground early on. Just make him work. All of a sudden, that weight cut, that added weight being brought into the cage will start to wear him down. All of a sudden, what happens? The strikes are slower. The power is negated. And the takedowns become even easier. Now, second round, third round, you can start using some of your ground game and start using some ground and pound. And I think that is where Story's going to have the edge. Don't forget, It was Story who called out Alves in this one. Story wanted this fight. And I think there's a reason for that. I think he knew by beating a big name, it could propel him in the 170 weight class. And, the kid is extremely well-rounded, and I think he's a great fighter. And now he has a chance to really get that name recognition by beating someone like Alves. So I think he called out the perfect guy. He didn't call out Fitch. He didn't call out GSP. He called out a big name at the 170-pound division that he already knows, like we all know, how to beat him. The game plan has been set. It's not secret. There is no secret in how to beat Alves. But the only question is, do you have the physical attributes? Do you have, the skill set to apply what's needed to beat him? And I think Story does, guys. So this is that one dog that I think we're getting tremendous value. You're going to get at least plus 175. You may get plus 200 as we approach fight night, because of the fact Alves will be tied into a bunch of exotics. He'll be tied into a bunch of parlays, and he'll get a lot of straight action. He's got a huge fan base that love the pit bull. And one last bit of news I want to share with you. I live here in Vegas. I know the scoop. Some of these fighters, their camps don't allow them to come into Vegas early in the week. They don't want them catching up, getting caught up in the nightlife, getting caught up in that Vegas atmosphere. Because of the fact, even if you're coming from the East Coast, we only have a 3-hour time difference, so it's not like you're going to Europe and you got to get acclimated with the time, so you need a week. 48 hours, 72 hours is enough to get acclimated. Alves was here early. He's had a whole week pretty much to be here in Las Vegas. That's not what you want to see from your fighter going into a big fight. I live here. I go out here. I talk to a lot of people here. I don't want to start rumors, so I'm not going to go out on a limb and pass along any details. But what I'm telling you is simply, this isn't the place you want to send your fighters 5, 6, 7 days before a fight unless they're here just to train. So take that as you want to take it. Bottom line, values on Story. That's my bet in that fight. Let's see if we could cash a 2-to-1 dog and stay undefeated on our UFC fight videos. Don't forget, check out my Matt Hamill, Rampage Jackson pick release. It is a bet. And probably going to try to do a couple more of these over the next 2 days. Thanks, fellas. Thanks for joining. And please feel free to pass along your opinions, your comments. The only thing I ask, if you bash, if I'm right, come back. Last time I said I will eat a lot of crow if I'm wrong, and I had a couple guys come in there and talk shit, but when the fights were over, they didn't come back. I'll go in if I lose, and I'll say I'm wrong. That's how I do it. But if I'm right and you bash, make sure you come back around, baby, and close out that conversation. Enjoy the fights. I'll see you soon.